Hey, it's Wendy Pett with Visibly Fit again here with another success story moment. And today I have with my friend Gina, and she just finished the 7 week Visibly Fit Accelerator program. And thank you for taking the time. I'm so excited for this time with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me to do this.
Yeah,
I'm
you're so
excited.
cool. You live in Florida and I'm in Minnesota, so you don't have to be in the same location. Although I was in Florida for a bit and I did get to meet you, so that was such a bonus for me. I felt
Huge
just
bonus. Yeah.
an honor and a privilege to meet you and spend time with you. So let's kind of just paint the picture here because I love success stories. I love hearing people's where they came from, where they are now, and just the transformation. And I know that people's stories inspire others. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about where you were mentally, physically, spiritually, all those things when you first came to me and wanted to do the program?
Sure. I'll try to give you an abbreviated version because it's a long one, it feels like. I had, I've always struggled with self-image. I've always, even, entering puberty as a kid, I just thought I was the biggest thing in the room always. So the voice of self-hate and I have to earn my self-worth, that goes way back to probably ages like even 7 to 10, almost like
Mhm.
young.
Those
So
formative ages, yeah.
yeah, it's so I have memories of being made fun of or just feeling like, again, I was the biggest person in the room and I should feel shame for that, because it was my fault that I was bigger or that I was, built a certain way. And, looking back now, you're like, how does this little girl even get that thought in her mind? Because I actually wasn't. Um, I don't know. So there, it started a long time ago, wearing 3 or 4 t-shirts with a long sleeve shirt on top, just trying to like cover up who I was, try to fade into the background. So it goes back a long ways. And then, enter in, marriage and children. I had 4 kids pretty quickly, back to back. So there was a long time there where I was pregnant or nursing or, taking care of a toddler, then pregnant again.
Yeah, you're like, I
So,
don't even know my body right
I
now. Forgot
no,
what
I
it's
didn't know
like.
my body. I didn't know who I was. I just was like, I am a production machine. This is what I
Right.
do.
Uh-huh.
And I truly loved it. Like I cannot say anything, bad about that. I really did love it. I loved being home. I loved being able to take care of my babies.
And how
And
old are you,
I
Gina?
knew
I mean, I know how old you are,
right
but
now I'm 39,
39. Okay. Yep.
39. Started having kids when I was 23, going into my 24th birthday.
Hmm.
So we started pretty young and we were like, well, we just started, might as well keep going. So we have 4 children.
Awesome.
And then once my youngest was born in 2013, I think that's when I would say everything kind of came to I don't want to say like a head, but like it just everything kind of bubbled up to the surface. Because my body like wasn't pregnant again after that. Right. So I was kind of like, what do I do now? Like I'm not
Mm.
having another baby. We decided we were done having kids and he was the perfect addition, perfect last puzzle piece to our crazy puzzle. Um, so my body really didn't know what to do. And then my mind kind of spun out of control also at the same time of like, well, who am I? I don't know. Like if I'm not having a baby, nursing a baby, potty training a baby, like, my identity was very wrapped up in being a mother, and even being a wife. And then at that point, things just started to go downhill because I realized I didn't know who I was, right? Those are two wonderful callings in life, a mother and a wife, but it
Yes.
wasn't who I was.
Yes. And Gina, I
That
want to
makes
put
sense.
just a pause in that real quickly because
Sure.
as we are heading into Mother's Day, I think you're
Yeah.
speaking to someone right now that may be kind of trapped into
Mm,
that, I'm a mom, I'm a wife,
mm,
and whoa,
right.
you're so much more. Even those are two great things, but I think
Absolutely.
that's a trap that so many women can get lured into, and yet being a
Sure.
mother is wonderful, and we do celebrate our mothers and being one if we're called to be one, but losing your identity becomes a crisis. And when we first started, I had you fill out kind of a scorecard to evaluate where your kind of mind is and where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
gave yourself a pretty low score, which matches what you're sharing about the low self-worth and not really knowing your
Mm-hmm.
identity. And one of the statements that you have on here, you said, because I asked why you gave yourself the score that you did, and you said, I'm at one of the lowest places in my life, and I feel like this is my last, all in capital letters, my last hope chance to heal. I mean, that is a woman feeling like I'm desperate. Like if I don't get help now, I don't know where I'm turning. And so let's kind of walk through that emotional time of even having the courage to speak with me and to dive in. What did that feel like, and how did it shape up the first week or two?
Yeah, I mean, it felt, it felt scary.
Mm-hmm.
It felt, because I had spent the last probably, 5 to 6 years before I did this program, after I had my youngest, and then things started getting worse, and then entering depression and loneliness and, just all of it, feeling unseen, unknown, kind of just wandering. So, I tried all the diets, right? Because like my main focus is always like, well, if I just lose weight, I'll be happier.
Yeah.
If I just get back down to what my pre-baby weight was, I'll feel better. I will.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just feel so much better, and that'll be it. So I did the keto, the whole 30, the master cleanse, the intuitive fasting. I tried, like, really, I tried it all, the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
P90X, this video, that video, all the things, just trying to get healthy. And I think I just was really missing the whole body approach
Mm.
is what it came down to. So, my husband and I had been in counseling for the last year and a half. I did some personal counseling before that. So really total almost probably 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was honestly the first step for me, was just to get into somebody who knew the Bible, who knew God's word, and who also
Yes.
knew how to counsel me and give me wise advice,
Yes.
and ask me questions and draw me out. That was the first step for me that led me to you,
Yes.
so, talking to my counselor years later, I finally, I mean, I think it just was the Holy Spirit, because it was kind of like, you got to tell him, you got to tell your counselor right now what's going on with you.
Mm.
And so I went, and we've been talking about so much, before in the past, 2 years or so. So he knew a lot of like my emotional stuff, with my marriage and with myself. So when I got into there, it was a Monday morning, I think it was at the end of February, just a few months ago. And I just looked at him and I was like, food. That's, we got to start there. I don't know what else to say, but just food. And he kind of
Yeah.
laughed like,
Just an unhealthy
okay,
relationship with
well,
it.
let's go there. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And, we just really being willing. I was so embarrassed. I was so full of like shame and like self-hate that I didn't really know how to start the conversation. I just
Yeah.
knew that if I didn't start the conversation, I don't know. I don't want to say I would die, but it felt like I was going to die. I felt like
Yeah.
I was trapped in this cycle of don't eat because you're too fat. Okay, now eat whatever you want. Okay, now don't eat. Like I just was in this cycle, this prison of
Yeah.
punishment, of like,
Yeah.
hey, that, you don't deserve this. Okay, now you do, because you're so sad and you're lonely and you have all these feelings you don't know how to process. So
Yeah.
just
It's not
numb
just
out by
the
eating
food you're
whatever you want.
eating, it's also what's eating you, right? Not
Right. So
just,
then,
yeah, the
right.
emotions. Hmm.
And he asked me, he said, what are you willing to do, to deal with this? And I said, anything, absolutely anything I will do.
And so he brought
Because
you
I
to me.
felt
I'm
like,
so grateful.
yes. And then he was like, well, I have a friend, it's a bit extreme, but if you sound pretty ready for the extreme. And I was like, 100%. Yeah. So admitting that. And I remember just crying with you on the phone the first
Mm,
time we talked. I remember I
yeah.
was in a parking lot, I was picking up my husband for a date night. And I just remember crying, like hearing your voice and be like, this is what I'm all about. This is what we're going to do. And I just was like, this is what I had been looking for years and years and years. Just that, because I knew a little bit of everything, of
Yeah.
mind, of spirit, of body, of nutrition. I just didn't have the tools to put it all together.
Yeah.
And for someone, I needed somebody to recognize my struggle mentally and emotionally, right? Because I felt so much shame, struggling with depression and struggling with some pretty dark thoughts and dark things. And I thought, well, how can I be a Christian but still struggle with this?
Ah,
So
boy, you're talking to
having
somebody
people
else right now, sister, that's listening to
I
this
hope,
because,
and
yeah,
I hope,
yeah.
that somebody does hear it and realize, my first counselor, she originally said, she was like, Gina, haven't you read the Psalms?
Oh
Haven't
boy.
you read David's laments and his
Right.
cries and his,
You're
the
not alone.
weeping and the, just it's an intense kind of sadness, an intense kind of loneliness. And I always thought, well, maybe I'm just not close enough to Jesus. Maybe my relationship is just not mature enough, with the Lord. And that's just a lie. It's a
Hmm.
total lie,
It
because
is.
Jesus is with us even in the darkness, even when we feel alone. He is there. He is there, and he's not judging and he's not condemning us. He is
Amen.
there comforting us, offering us his Holy Spirit to comfort us, to
You,
give us hope, you
yes,
know.
that's
And
just
I
a
had
hope.
lost hope. I had
You,
lost hope for so long.
I'm
So,
glad you brought up the word hope because that's what I see. I see the hope restored in you. I see a
yeah.
renewed spirit, a renewed mind. I see. I, before we got on this call, I said, "Oh my goodness, I feel like it's like hear me roar. Like I am empowered because you're taking ownership and you're not letting
Yes.
the the secrets or whatever own you, and you're
Yes.
you're shedding light to it and allowing God to heal what really is at the culprit of your um, uh, past unhealthy habits. And so there's been
Right.
such a shift. You've had so many breakthroughs, Gina. I'm so impressed by you as a woman and as a friend. But I'm just
Thank
your
you.
breakthroughs are honorable and they are encouraging. And I just want you to know that I am in awe of how God has worked in you, and I'm honored to be your coach and have been your coach.
Thank you.
After we did the 7 weeks, I have you go back and do that scorecard again, and you gave yourself like 66 or 67 points higher, something like that. And you said, I have learned and experienced so much these last 7 weeks. I am much closer to giving myself a 10 for every answer. So you wanted to give yourself a
Mhm.
100.
I
And
did. I wanted the perfect score.
yes, I love that. I love that. But you don't get hung up on the perfect score, right? And that was
Right,
one of the things that we
exactly. And I
worked
know
through.
that that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And I know I still have room for improvement, and I'm just motivated to keep
Yeah.
going for sure.
And
So,
so, part of the breakthroughs were, that deception of perfection, and I understand
mhm,
that personally. I understand depression, and so I'm grateful that God allowed me to walk you hand in hand, lovingly through the process, through the Visibly Fit process. But through
thank
all
you.
of it, and through the nutrition, and through the exercise, and through your commitment and dedication, you released 20 pounds. Now, in the beginning, let's talk about that because you're like, oh man, I only lost this much. And I'm like, wait a minute, you released it. But you
hmm
were a little discouraged at first, weren't you?
hmm
Uh-huh.
The first 2 weeks felt good because they were like big number weeks. And then after
Detox,
that,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, the detox, all of
Uh-huh.
it. So I think I lost a lot the first 2 weeks. Then after that, I'm like, oh, 1 pound, two
Yeah.
pounds. But then, I was grateful for your quick reminder that it wasn't about the numbers,
That's
because
right.
and then really after that, after like probably week 4, I just thought, oh my gosh, I feel so good. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care what the number says. I don't care if the scale is going up. I mean, I do, but not really if I feel this good and my
Yeah. And
clothes are
how
fitting
did you feel?
differently.
How were you feeling good? In what way?
I mean, I honestly, I felt like, so after getting the blood work first,
Yep.
that was like the switch for me of like, I want to live. Seeing those
Yes.
numbers,
Mm.
I could not have said that sentence in the past 6 years.
Mm.
I don't really want to live. I don't have the effort, the desire. I don't even want to open my eyes in the morning. I mean, that's how bad it was. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt like a shell of a person really for a long time.
Yeah.
So to just to have that moment, have everything, the counseling, marriage, all the stuff come and like, lead to this program was huge. And then seeing those numbers, it's like, okay, I want to live. Let's do this. I do want to live. I don't want to end up on medication in a few years. And that's my life, that I have
Exactly.
to like rely on something in order to keep my heart pumping, or, whatever it may be. It became so much more about life than it did numbers or my weight. And
Yes.
I
And you
realized
really
I'm more than my weight,
You
like that's
got
what I
it.
realized is like I was awake, I was alive, I was sleeping amazing. And I have not slept like this in, I don't know, probably a decade,
That's awesome.
truly.
I
So
love
it
it.
just like the sleep, my clothes fit differently. We go to Universal a little bit and we have passes and I run circles around everybody. Like
That's
even my husband
awesome.
who's he's a
All
CrossFit
this energy.
trainer. I'm just like, let's go. And they're like, that's 5 o'clock. We should probably go home. I was like, please, 2 more rides. Let's do it. Which is just, it's not me. I mean, it is
It
now.
is now.
It wasn't the old me.
Well, just think of the
Mhm.
ripple effect, Gina. Like I get so excited with your 4 kids, right? And with your husband. The ripple
Mhm.
effect of you taking care of yourself and how they are seeing just your example and they're wanting to tap into it a little bit. You've got some of your kids that are drinking the green drink now and they're
Yeah.
they're they're fueling up like you are and
Every
being
dinner.
able,
Is this plant-based? Is this plant-based?
yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
And so
they're very interested. It's wonderful to see their interest become support because they're like, you got this, you can do it.
it's
So
awesome.
it's really amazing to see that in a kid.
Well, it
So
is, and they're proud of their mom. They see that mom is alive again. Mom
yeah.
is present again. Mom is the mom that we desire in our life with all this
Hmm.
energy
Hmm.
and can have fun with us. And so that alone just makes me, just praise the Lord. It's
That was
so
the
exciting,
program is worth it for that right there. I
right?
mean, really. There's
And
so many benefits, but it's worth it for that right there.
yeah. And so, yeah, so you released the 20 pounds, but I have to
Mhm.
say that you also released 27 inches. I mean, come on. You went from
I
a
know.
size 20 to a size 16.
Yeah.
And 9 of those inches were in your hips. I mean, it is so much fun. So that's when people, if they get hung up on the number on the scale, I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
don't even pay attention. It's not
Yep.
telling you your muscle to fat ratio. It's not talking,
Yep.
every body releases in different rates and speeds in different ways. And so that's very fun to see that. But the blood work was so revealing, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you were zero point 0.1 away from being diabetic.
Hmm.
And,
Not
and in,
not 1 point,
no,
point
point
one.
one. Exactly.
A
Point
tenth of
one.
a point.
Yeah, exactly. And so now,
Yeah.
in just 7 weeks, you were just point 0.3 markers away from being in the normal range. You're no
Hmm.
longer pre-diabetic, diabetic, nothing. You're like right there, almost in the like normal range. And
Hmm.
your CRP, your inflammatory markers, I love this one because it was off the charts high. It was 16, over 16, and in that 7 weeks after the blood work, it's 5.5.
Yeah.
So you're almost in the normal range there.
So close.
Um,
I'm gonna keep
which
going till I get it down
yeah, because
even more.
those markers, they are really big indicators of future
Mhm.
cardiovascular events. So
Right.
those are important. So all these, oh, and your cholesterol, you
Hmm.
had, I think it was your LDL. I'm going to pull this up exactly because it was so great. Your
Hmm.
LDL, which is your, quote unquote bad cholesterol,
Right.
it was, let me see, I got all these papers here looking at. It was actually 112, which is super high, and it was regulated to 86. And that was just
Hmm.
in that 7 weeks. Your total cholesterol was 194, and then afterwards it was 145. I mean, the numbers don't lie. And so
Mm-mm.
I get so excited because this is just the beginning.
Yes.
Just 7 weeks have passed. Imagine what the
Right.
next 7 weeks look like, and the next
I
7 weeks.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I
Truly.
know. I know.
I cannot wait.
So I just want you to be as proud of yourself as I am, and I believe you are. And go and reward yourself with something great like a manicure, pedicure, new
That's fun.
pair of walking shoes, whatever. Maybe it's a new outfit, the transition outfit, because I know you're going to
Hmm.
keep releasing. But something to reward your efforts because you have come a long way, and I'm so so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you were to share maybe just one thing with somebody that may be on the fence, that maybe they're in the place that you were in,
Hmm.
what would you say to them? Because it is scary in the beginning.
It is really scary. I would say it's hard work, but I would say you are not alone. And I would say that every documentary, journaling thing, vision board, all the things that the program offers meal plan, meal prep, every single piece of that is worth doing it, because there were so many things where I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I mean, to be honest, right? Because
Right, right.
I was so overwhelmed with life, and I
Sure,
just
you
was like,
got four kids. You're
how can
homeschooled.
I, yeah, I'm like, how can I take this on?
Yeah,
And I just would say, how could you not take it on? How could you not? Um, I think especially for women, who we tend to just nurture and care for everybody around us, which is such a
yeah,
gift that God's placed in us to, make things work. If we can care so deeply about other people, then why wouldn't we care for our own selves? So I would ask that, or tell that woman or that person, like, God cares for you. He cares for you enough that like, we can care. We're allowed to care for ourselves. We are allowed to prioritize ourselves and say, hey, look, I need to go for a walk today. Like, you can come with me, or you can stay here and read a book. I'll be right back in 30 minutes, or, whatever it is. My kids are older, so I can say that now. But um, even if just doing your exercises, if you have little kids, doing the exercises right there while they play along with you, like, you put your little laptop up and get your workout in.
there you go. No excuses. See, I
No
love this.
excuses.
You are an incredible student, Gina. I feel like you are saying exactly the things I would say.
I have learned well.
Oh, you are amazing. And I am just so grateful that you shared your success story with us, because Visibly Fit is no joke. It really does have great rewards when you stick to the plan and stick to the
Yeah.
program. And so thank you for loving yourself well. And thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for showing me how to do it. That really it was helpful. And I needed that, because I knew it in my mind, but for whatever reason, I had a lot of blockage, and I wasn't ready to just show that to myself. So I
Yeah.
appreciate the coaching and the prayers and the everything that you have done for me the last 7 weeks. So thank you so
Well,
much.
you're welcome. It's not over yet. We're going to keep
Not yet.
walking hand in hand. I love you, sister,
Yes.
and I appreciate
Yes.
you. God bless.
Okay. Thanks, Wendy.